everyone, it's Beth and Billie Jo with Elkhart Instructional Tech, and we're going to go over some numbers, Keynote, and Pages activities.
Yeah, because I love creating in the iOS apps, and I'm trying to encourage Beth why we should use it more, and hopefully I will encourage you to also use it more. I liked using it in the classroom to create templates for my students so that they had the frame of what was needed, but then they could use the iPad to integrate that technology and that creativity.
And I never used this because I worked in a district that we had Chromebooks. I used Pages, Numbers, and Keynote all the time when I was creating worksheets or PowerPoints or, Keynotes, but whatever. So I've never used it for like students to make. And we want to encourage that because like if they're doing a Google slide, they can't add video to it.
Right. And there's certain things that they cannot do, or they can, but it's not as easy, like inserting a drawing.
Yes. And that's because they're using an iPad for the Google slide app.
That's right. And so here in Elkhart, we are an iPad district. And so there are so many ways to be creative using the iPad.
Yeah.
So let's jump in. So I'm going to open up Pages first. And let's take a look here at this. Is just a template I grabbed for a basic newsletter. And this is just a way for you to insert information. I would just go in and you could either make a copy of it, like duplicate, or you could just type right over it each week if you don't need to save it. So yeah, it's just a really easy way to use something and then you just type it in.
And you can create, like, no matter if you have a Mac or a Dell, like our teachers, we all have iPads.
We do.
So you can, if you click the edit,
Yep. So if I'm on the edit, now this is mine and I can go in and I could change this date here. I could change in this picture here by...
move it. And let's move a picture and look at the alignment that it does. So if we move this... It's so nice because
Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see a little more. See?
It aligns. It's just so nice.
So you can decide, like, do I want it? Where do I want this picture to be?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
so much,
really nice.
So much better than making on Google Docs.
It is. Another thing is those templates I was talking about. So let's take a look at this template here. This is students were learning about data, how to collect data, how to communicate data, all of the things about data. And so this is not the one.
This is the template that Apple had. So let's go and look at your Pages.
Yeah, let's go in mine. So let's see here.
Look at you. She's using the new side task. There's sidebar. I don't know. There's a name for it. Sidecar.
Yeah.
Sidecar feature and iPad.
So here is, I took what Apple template was, and I just changed the text a little, and you can see the students will put in their name, the study of ... whatever the data topic they were collecting. So if they were collecting favorite colors, the study of colors, which color is the favorite, they would just type that in.
And this is the one that you give to students.
I would give this to students, and then right here, this picture, this is what's just on the template, right? We looked at it. See right here. This is the iPad template and Pages. See that picture?
Yep.
Same picture. So then we go back to my template here. Same picture. Students will just tap this little plus in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
And then they can put in a picture of their choosing. So they can choose or take. So when they choose a photo, they're going to go into their camera roll. And then they can select whichever camera is in their roll. So, yeah, so that's nice. And then the second page, I took the text away and added this data graph so that when students are collecting that data, I want them to represent it in a digital
And they
graph.
would delete this and then add a chart, right?
Well, they wouldn't delete it. All they would do is they would tap on it, and then I would instruct them that they're going to edit the data, and then the table comes up, and then they're going to replace choice 1 with what choice 1 was, choice 2 and so on. And then
so if we replace choice 4 with chocolate.
That's right.
Because who doesn't love chocolate?
That's right.
Well, some people don't. You know?
And maybe instead of 96, it was
a babillion.
100,000. There we go. That number. Then they just press done, and now you can see here.
Whoa!
My graph has changed.
Chocolate.
So it automatically adjusts the axis and
so cool.
like all of the things. And then I just had them say whatever the choices were, I want you to list them there.
And kids have freedom here. Like if they go to that paintbrush up there,
they
can change the chart, what it looks
like. They're like, I want purple and pink because that's my favorite. And then there we go.
I love this.
And then the last page was just I wanted them to collect what were the top 2 and then find a picture that represents whatever that choice is. So
and
if
all
it
they
was,
do is add the...
And all they do is tap the plus.
You know, you've already convinced me.
I love
From
it.
this one thing.
Yeah. So this was a very simple, didn't take the students very long once they had their data to
and
create.
You made this from, if we go back to the other one that we
So if we go back
had open.
And actually, how about I just show you how I found it, that template.
Yeah.
So here we are in Pages New, and I'm just going to press the Create a Document. And then it automatically asks me, what do you want to do? And it always shows my reasons. But I'm going to scroll down. And I really love to go in the book landscape. That's just, I don't know why. I just do.
Creating on the iPad is so much nicer when it's landscape.
And so then if we just scroll, you can see right there.
Found it.
Yep. And we're actually going to look at this next one here, the elephants in the wild. So let's go ahead and open this, and then I'll show you what I made. So my students were doing an animal report in class, so I was like, this is perfect because it already has an animal on there. And so I took this 3-page template, and then I created this.
Well, your pages are so much more, though.
They are. I'm going to show you how you can add more. So you can see here, this is very similar. I just changed the text to represent what I wanted my students to put in there. So this one, habitat and description, and so I made little sections. I changed the caption to tell them to describe their photo. Here, I added this green text box. So this is just a shape, and shapes you can add text to.
And they can go in and
then the students can go in here and they can change this text. Yep. And so the reason I did this is because on Discovery, National Geographic Kids, they have a box that looks like this. And I wanted them to get the information from that box. And I just wanted visually for them to be like, oh, that's where I'm going to get it.
Wow,
you know? I'm a 3rd grade teacher.
I'm back in my 5th grade science class. Looking at that.
This one is just pictures because students love to add pictures. This one is where they can add a short video. And then this one is where they can put in a drawing. So you might remember the first 3 pages were just what the template had. So what I did is I just down at the bottom, see right there on the left?
The plus.
That plus, and then I was able to pick some other pages.
So if we go into that text with photo.
Yep, I can put that there. There it is. And then I can drag it where I want it to go. So maybe I want it here.
Can I make it so that I have like 2 long photos?
Yeah, so what I would do is I would get rid of the text, and then I would duplicate.
Copy.
I guess I have to do copy. Paste. And so then...
and it's still a placeholder.
And it's still a placeholder. A placeholder means the plus is there, so the student taps the plus, and then a picture is added. Now, I will show you... let me go ahead and just delete this one.
Cut.
And what happens if you have your own photo?
Never mind.
Go ahead. What happens if you have your own photo? You go into the plus, you go into photo or video, and I'm just going to grab this photo of this bird and say you wanted this, but you really want that plus in there. I'll just put it there. So once I have it selected, I'm going to go into the paintbrush, and I'm just going to press set as placeholder. Boom, there's the plus. And if you're having an issue with that, when you tap, there's no plus, and you tap it, you don't see set as placeholder, but you see clear placeholder. Just do clear, then you'll see set, and then you can press set.
Can I just do, if we go back to that plus, can I add just an image? What's the image gallery? Oh.
So that's just a blank one. So that's if you don't necessarily want it to have a picture. I love it when it's a picture that really is...
It's more accessible. I
mean, along the lines of what you're expecting.
Yeah. And it's I feel like all of this is so nice because no matter what grade you teach, having, like, we always want to have our kids set to this expectation. And sometimes you give them like an example and they look at it and then they move on. But making them make something within the example, so cool.
Yeah. Do you want to see an example of what a student actually did on this?
Yes.
Yeah, so here's an example of a student. So she just went in, changed her picture, changed her title, of course, added her name, put in some information. So, yeah, she did a very nice job.
Yeah.
This is her video. So she linked her video. So if I were to press play, her video is going to play. It embeds, so it's very nice. So you know that she had certain parameters that they had to use for their video. Then look at her drawing.
Wow.
So let me tell you what she did. So this is something. Do you see this picture of this giraffe? Notice this picture. Do you notice something?
They're
very similar. So what I would tell my students is, if they are not comfortable drawing, they feel like I'm not a good drawer, I say, put in your picture. So she put in a picture on that page 6. Then she went into the plus. She went to the drawing. The drawing tool's open.
Oh.
And now she can pick her colors, and then she just draws right on top. And she made her giraffe. And then you get the idea. And she added in all her details. And then when she was all done, she pressed done. Then she took her picture. She deleted her picture. And then her drawing was still there with all the layers that she made.
Your giraffe does not look as good as her
I
giraffe.
know, because I was rushing, but you get the idea.
Yeah, that is
so it's pretty amazing for students and powerful for them because they feel like creative.
Yeah.
So this is an example of a student's. So now let's take a look at a science template. So we have this science kit thing that we have going on in Elkhart, and within the science kit, it's pretty dated, and so the student responsive pages are all worksheets. It's like this little packet. And so we got together and created some of these templates for students to just take that worksheet to the next level. So in this case, students can use the drawing tool to color in the butterfly.
So you go to edit.
Yep, so they'd go to edit. They'd go to the plus.
The plus and the
and
drawing.
in the moon and mountains, they'd go to drawing. And now all those are open, and now they can go in and they can color right on top.
Go here.
Yep. Yep. Or highlighters are also fun ones to do because they're a little more transparent.
Oh, yours is 100 times better than mine.
So yeah, and then when they're done, they just press done, and there it is. So then they can also put drawings in here. So they're like investigating, and instead of just drawing on a paper, they can use all the tools on the iPad.
And you know, making all this on the even if you have a MacBook, making this on the iPad is so much nicer because it's like tap plus and select drawing. You know exactly what your students are doing because you're making it on the same device that your students are doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so in this case, you know, they're drawing a picture of what they think a caterpillar looks like, and then how you think. So it's just that activating that prior knowledge.
And if your kids really struggle with directions, I taught 7th grade, and my kids really struggled with directions. I can screen record myself doing what I want them to do,
or you can record audio.
Oh, yeah.
And then they can hear it. So that's just a way to add in that accessibility. But you're right, a video as well works.
iPad is just so nice.
That's right. And so, again, you can't insert a photo on a worksheet, but here you can. This is just like a table, made it look like colorful, and then adding a recording so they can use their words to explain.
Yeah.
So this is just a great way to integrate science and creativity and technology.
And we know we love recordings now because there's so much out there. A lot of AI tools that kids can use to they type it in and then the AI spits out an answer. But you know what AI can't do yet? I say yet. It can't have it in their own voice.
That's right. So another thing is here was on this worksheet and then we were able to then put these words and so then the students could
That's a caterpillar?
Yeah. It's just the head of the caterpillar.
Okay.
So then they can put in and they can say, okay, well, that part, that diagram points to the lower lip. And so this is just, a nice way to make it a little more engaging, a little more fun, a little easier on your teacher eyes because sometimes those students' handwriting is not great. So, yeah. Yep. So science is one other way to do that. Another app that I really enjoy is... You want me to do the numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
This is what started us off because I was like, Billie Jo, how do you use numbers? You just do data collection?
She's like, numbers? What's numbers?
Nobody uses numbers. What do you create in numbers?
I said, yes, people can use numbers.
And then she showed me this and I was like, what? So,
So what I like about Numbers has all the power that Keynote, that Pages has, but it has tabs. And I like it because it can chunk it up.
And you say power like it has the shapes.
Yes.
It has the ability to drag and move things. And
when I press plus, look, it's the same thing.
The audio, the image gallery.
Yep. All of the things. And so basically in this activity, I'll explain it just a little bit. On this first page, students we studied the Great Lakes, and they were just supposed to, they could listen to this audio and hear the directions. They basically, Michigan's blue, so where's Michigan? Tap Michigan, then choose the paintbrush and change the color to match. Don't forget about the Upper Peninsula, and then they do the same thing. And so then that's Michigan. So it's just a way to label Indiana. What color is Indiana? It's red, and so on. And they would do all of those. Then they would go to the next tab.
And you can't drag. Can you go back to Great Lakes?
You can drag them.
Oh, you can drag them.
Yeah.
But you can make those cells so that they don't drag them.
Right, you can lock them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, locking.
Yes.
You could lock anything.
You can. So if you just go into the paintbrush and you go to the arrange, you can lock.
And if you lock it and give it to a kid as a template, can they unlock it?
Yeah, they can. They can just press
they
just press the paintbrush. They can. Great Lakes, this is just where they were going to drag it over, so kind of what you were wondering before.
Yeah.
So they just drag it over to label the states. This was just an image. I'll show you about this right here, how I did that. The next tabs, all of the Great Lakes states, they all have the same kind of template that I created. The only thing that's different is obviously the title of the state. So like here's Michigan, and you see Indiana. It's the same, it's just Indiana. And I went with the same color because that's just how I roll. And so then students would just do the same thing. They would highlight Wisconsin, they would shade it, they would put in all of the information. So like the plus, right? This is where they insert a picture of like the state bird or the state flower. Notice the state flag doesn't have it. So remember what we have to do to add that?
Plus.
Well, tap it first.
Oh, yeah. Tap, plus.
Then paintbrush.
Nope. I'm already
and then set placeholder. But
you have to clear.
That's right. Clear.
I would have gotten
and
it.
Then set. And there it is.
Paintbrush.
Yeah. All right. And so then one of my favorite parts at the end is this scratch-off activity. And so really what I wanted the students is I was traveling to the Upper Peninsula, and there was like this newspaper, and it had all these cool facts about the Great Lakes. And I was like, how can I incorporate this? And so I took little pictures, and I just wanted them to read it. But I wanted it to be more engaging. And so what they had to do, and the directions were right there, but they just tap the plus, and they get into this drawing, open the drawing menu. They make sure they have the eraser. And I usually try to make sure they have the thicker. And then they just go right here, and they just erase. So they're scratching away. And then they're going to record what it says.
That's so cool.
Right? Just little facts. Because, So how did I do this Great Lakes?
It's the second largest lake in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty
Lake
big.
Superior?
Yeah, Lake Victoria's bigger.
Have I ever been there? Oh.
You've never been there? Have you been to the UP?
Nope.
Oh, you should go. It's fun.
Yeah,
I've been there a couple times. All right, so let me show you how I made this. So I'm just press done, and I'm going to go into just the numbers, and I'm going to just do plus for a new. And you'll notice that they have templates, but
they're boring,
right? They're like finance, right?
Who likes
so
finance?
I'm just going to go to basic blank, and you'll notice that there's lines there. But if you just tap that circle here up in the top, and then you press delete, they're gone.
Oh, yeah.
So now you have a blank.
Okay.
And now you can just create just like you would do in Pages or in Keynote. But let me show you how I did that state. So shapes, you're right. Shapes. And I'm going to just use that little search, and I'm just going to put USA. No, I'm going to put United States. There it is. And so what do you notice?
It's all together.
That's right.
How did you make it?
So they don't have just Great Lakes. And I know I just want this like little collection, right? So while it's selected, I'm just going to tap, and I'm going to go into the paintbrush, sorry.
Okay.
And I'm going to go to break apart. Do you see right there?
Yep.
And now all of those are like these little points. So I'm just going to click off. And this is easier if you were on a laptop, because here you just have to like select objects.
Oh, I mean, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard, but
okay.
Sometimes there's all these little ones, and you're like, Darn it.
I spoke too soon, maybe it is.
Yeah. So let's try this again. I don't even know. Because you know why? You can type on shapes. So that's why the text hard to come up.
Don't mess up. Don't mess up.
I know. So you get the idea.
Just delete what you have.
Okay. So then, how do I do that? I need to get my keyboard. Here we go. There. Select.
Can you just drag? Can I just do this?
Just like this?
Yep.
You can. Look at that. And that is better because of all those small.
Yeah. What are the small little things?
That's right. So you get the idea. Once you have what you want selected.
I just didn't even know about the break apart. Like, I bet there's so many shapes on here
that you could break apart. Then once you have it, select, like what you were saying earlier. Okay. Come on. Stop being weird.
It doesn't like you right now.
Because I'm not
I bet I would do it.
Now it'll let me.
Oh, you have to be in okay.
All right. Now, will it let me?
You should just be able to just select all.
And now I can group them.
Oh.
So now they're all one
make
group.
Them bigger.
That's right. So there's a couple stragglers over there. All right. So then once you have yours together, then I would suggest if you need that on more, not delete. The other D, duplicate. Then you have them on multiple sides.
It's so nice with numbers. I was just shocked because I never even thought about having in numbers the different sheets. You know, like if you have like in spreadsheets, you have multiple tabs on the bottom. So with creating things, like having it on different tabs is just so nice. Like what you created, having it be very segmented out so that the students aren't so overwhelmed with having it all in one page.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
And they can't even like swipe to see, oh my gosh, I have so much to do.
No.
Like,
I mean, they can, but they're not going to see anything.
It's just nice to have it as different
But
tabs.
you can. So if you are that person that you really need something quite long, I mean, Pages does allow that. It's kind of pageless in that way. Whatever you put on there, it's going to just...
Numbers does that.
I'm sorry, I did say Pages.
Pages also does that.
All right. So one last template to look at, see if I can convince you, is...
You've already convinced me.
Keynote. Let's look at Keynote. So here is a template. Now, Keynote is great if you want your students to make presentations, slideshows, things like that. But you can also make things like this. This is an iPad trading card template. This is perfect to kind of get to know each other. You could use it when you're finishing a book, and it could be about a character. I mean, there's lots and lots of ways that you can use this. So basically, when we made this, we resized this Keynote so that it's shaped like 8.5 by 11, and as opposed to kind of that landscape traditional 16 by 9 slideshow. And then when I made this, I just put in these colored shapes, the blue shapes, and typed on there different categories. So this would be something maybe for the beginning of the school year. What's your favorite app? What's your favorite book? Favorite emoji? Favorite subject? What's your name? Put in a photo of yourself, that kind of thing. Students can copy this and change it and change the categories and make their own trading card for whatever reason.
And you could also, like, when your students are done, you can grab all of their keynotes and copy and paste it into one class keynote. And then you can hit the play button, and it goes through everybody's work.
That's right, it does.
And it sounds complicated to copy and paste. It's so easy to copy and paste.
Oh, definitely. And I, as a teacher, would have one made of myself first, and I would show my students so they had that example of, oh, this is what we could do and what we can do.
Yeah. And we made that shape there just by taking all of the shapes on Pages, Keynotes, and Numbers. You can unlock. So if you click on the shape, you can unlock the proportion. Not that shape, not the square.
Oh, okay. Then what?
Do the actual phone.
Oh, this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we go to unlock, and if we go to the formatting, that constrained proportions, that makes it so that when you resize it, it's going to make it so it stays, like if I use a circle, it's going to stay a perfect circle.
Right.
If I want to make it more squished like an oval, then I would turn constrained proportions off. then you can have more, you can manipulate it so it doesn't.
Right,
not locked
because
in.
what we used was a phone.
Yep.
That's what we used, the phone, because there was no tablet.
Yeah, and so we use that. We turn constrained proportions off.
But as you see, when I make it like this, it still makes it skinny like a phone. And so, yeah, turning off that proportion allowed us to stretch it wide.
So you can just see how easy. Not now. Burst timing. Arrange. We can turn that off.
Yep. And then you can change the color to be whatever color you want.
And you can add a circle at the bottom. You can make it so that little
like we did.
Yep.
Yeah.
So easy.
So
I already told you I'm convinced.
Okay.
There's just so many things.
What about these viewers? Do you think that I've convinced some of them?
Hopefully. I think that you look at it and you're like, yeah, it's a lot of work. And so, like, really thinking about something that you do that your kids are not engaged in. Mm-hmm. So, like, proportion something is that, like, my kids, we would read all these word problems and it was just a lot and my kids were getting tired. So if I created something that they could do in Keynote, pages or numbers, it might get them a little bit motivated.
And the whole idea of Keynote, like, you make a template of a page and each person or each student creates a page, but maybe like a jigsaw approach where you're doing a little chunk of it, and then you put it together, and now you have the whole concept together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea.
And it's fun to make.
So if you're an Elkhart teacher, you can book a session with either myself or Beth. We can show you step-by-step, kind of like brainstorm with you how you can do some of these templates in your class. And if you're not an Elkhart teacher, or Elkhart teachers as well, in the video description, we'll go ahead and put in a link to a file folder that has all of these templates.
Oh,
so you can download them.
I am. So nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this. It's so nice.
All right. Well,
now it's your turn to create something meaningful and engaging, and it's so easy. And so if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and comment below if you're going to use anything or if there's something new that you learned. I learned something new.
Yeah.
So,
and if you really like listening to us, check out our podcast, Let's Talk Ed Tech. You can find that at any
of the listening
Apple
apps.
Music, Spotify, Amazon, or at letstalked.tech.
Yeah, because we're so fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, awesome. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.